Good day, mates. Welcome to the MMA Vivisection. I'm Zane Simon, and this is... What's the other one called?
I forget his name.
Conor Bush.
Yeah,
Conor. There we go. All right. So yeah, this is Technical Team's podcast of Gugabe. One day we'll come up with an actual name, and we're covering USP on ESPN Plus 17, Rodriguez versus Stevens. So, do you think the UFC can find a worse card than this one?
It's going to be fun, though, some of these fights. Like, some of them are low level, but pretty much every one of them's chaos.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, there's a couple, like, female fights that aren't as good. Not sexist or anything, but the other fights are really good.
Yeah,
or
I
like,
agree with that.
good in the sense of with action, I mean.
All right. So Claudio Poyares versus Marcos Mariano. I actually disagree somewhat with the line here because Claudio Puelles had such a mean winner over what's his name, Felipe Silva.
Yeah,
Like, that was a third round miracle knee bar. Like, I know Marcos Mariano's got nothing off his back, but so does Felipe Silva, and Felipe Silva beat the shit out of Claudio Puelles for like 2.5 rounds.
Yeah. Playing Claudio Puelles or whatever the fuck at minus 290 is kind of insane. I do think he's the rightful favorite, though, just because Mariano is that bad off his back. But I mean, it's dogger pass. It's like you could play Joanna at nearly the same price against Michelle Waterson coming up. Where like there's way less like crazy outcomes to happen in that fight.
I know. Well, it'll be very predictable. KO by judo throw.
For sure. Michelle Waterson, of course, she's going to dominate. But
no, she's going to get her ass whooped. And for 3 rounds in, she's going to hit a magical judo throw. And bang.
Yeah, we'll talk about that fight at a future date. But yeah,
actually, let me just check prop prices for this. Like, Mariano KO at plus 675 is not bad, honestly. Like, I mean, it's not something I'm going to go crazy about, but you know, it's a fairly true outcome fight.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Poyares can like string together a decent takedown every now and then, but this is super low level.
Yeah,
a fight like this, just shit can happen. But
pretty much,
I agree he should be favored, but I'm not playing him. I wouldn't play him at minus 200, so minus 290.
Yeah,
but
perfectly on the same. Yeah, I think minus 200 is about the accurate price.
Yeah, if he was there, I'd be like, okay, that's fine. Minus 290 seems a little insane. I do think he's going to win, though. But
I have no interest in Marcos Mariano because just made me shit.
Yeah.
Beth Cahaya versus Ceara Eubanks. I feel like Ceara should just kind of beat her pretty soundly everywhere.
Agreed.
Like, you know, Beth really isn't great off her back. Ceara's striking is actually looking pretty good. She's got decent power for a woman. I think Ceara should beat that ass for the most part.
Yeah, pretty much. I agree with the line. Like, I have no problem. I think Ceara is really good. I think she's improving too. Morais does throw a lot though, like, and she is tough. So I don't think it's like outside of the realm of possibilities for her to win. But Eubanks submission at plus 630 kind of seems insane.
Yeah, I'm hitting that.
Yeah, that was the line where I was a little surprised on. I don't play.
It's hilarious that Eubanks KO was tighter than Eubanks submission. Like, what the fuck? Okay, Eubanks can't hit for a woman, but like, she's a legit world class grappler.
She has decent pop though, Eubanks. Like, I've seen her stun some girls. I'm not saying I disagree with you. I'm saying TKO could have happened, but I think submission's more likely, probably.
Yeah, definitely.
Or at least it should be closer to the same price, you know?
Yeah.
But
all right, 5 year.
Paul Craig and how do you say Vinicius Morais?
I believe so.
Fight of the year, right?
Fuck. This is going to be a shit show.
For those of you listening who maybe we haven't done a podcast for a little bit, and maybe the people who haven't been listening for a while, just a little backstory. Paul Craig's kind of a signature Gugabe fighter, and he's fucking won. I feel like he's won you a lot of money by just memeing shit out, right?
Yeah, he has. Like, I made a lot of money against Kennedy. Decent amount of money versus Kurt. Actually, annoying. I had Kurt decision, and that's such an annoying bait. It was like plus 600.
Paul Craig just fucking up, like fucking people one way or another.
Yeah, like it was like 6 seconds left, wasn't it?
Yeah, he taps people with 10 seconds, or with like literally no time left against Ankalaev, and then he gets tapped himself. Yeah, it was really short time. I forget the exact amount, but I agree with the price. I think it's kind of like, who the fuck knows? It's kind of 50-50.
Yeah, I kind of lean Paul Craig just because I feel like Paul Craig's got a big striking advantage, and B, it's hard to say exactly how good a grappler Vinicius is.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, yeah, he's a black belt and all that, but like, even watching his regional fights, I'm not seeing much of him, which indicates he's some elite, massive grappler. But on the other hand, Craig isn't that good at grappling, realistically.
Yeah.
Like, if you take Craig's skill set and put it like featherweight or some shit, he is getting his ass mauled.
Yeah, I haven't fully taped. I know both guys, and I watched a couple fights, but I feel like Morais does have the better top game. But Craig might KO him. Like he has a bad chin, Morais. But I just kind of see this as like the Crute and who the fuck do you just fought Serkinov type of fight where it's just going to be chaos. And I could see a lot of momentum swings and shit like that. I do like Moreira's game probably a little more in the sense that he actually goes to top position and holds it.
Yeah.
But
that's important.
He gasses too. So it's like, I don't fucking know.
Yeah. And Vinicius can't take a punch, which adds to it. I'm putting a little bit on Craig KO just because I feel like my hair just can't take a punch. And Craig's striking has actually been improving lately. It's not incredible or anything, but he throws a decent clip. He likes his kicks.
Even when he got his ass beat by Ankalaev, he actually landed a few shots on the feet in that fight that made Ankalaev uncomfortable. Like, I wouldn't say he hurt him, but if you rewatch that fight, Craig would land something here and there. I mean, he pretty much had his ass beat the whole fight, though. But yeah, that's kind of how I see it. I'm gonna tape it a little bit, but this is gonna be really fucking entertaining. Like, which Paul Craig fight isn't?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just sad because at that time, Alonzo Menefield got the fluked out to win against Paul Craig.
You still claim that's a fluke?
It was a fluke. Look. If I was pricing that fight again, I'd say Menefield. I should probably want to see Menefield plus 600. Yeah. Yeah. Pettis versus Tyson Nam. Sergio Pettis, always non-entertaining. What's the no scorecard? No scorecards is fairly tempting. But again, this could be the case. This could be the fight where Pettis finally decides to finish somebody.
Yeah.
Like Sergio Pettis got like the longest streak in the UFC of not finishing. Surely. He's got like what? How many UFC wins without a finish? 1, 2.
He's never had a UFC. Yeah,
I know he hasn't. That's what I mean. He's got
3, 7, 8.
Yeah, 9 UFC wins without a single finish.
Yeah, and then if you add all the losses too, it's like 14. He hasn't gotten a finish. Yeah,
Pettis. I feel like that must be the record.
Huh?
I feel like that must be the record for UFC bouts without a finish.
In a row, probably.
I think even generally, even like just like in a row, but also from like the time of your UFC debut.
Yeah, probably. Like fought 14, like because he's fought like 13 times, so that's probably a record. I can't think of anyone off the top of my head.
Even Tesha Torres has a finish.
Yeah,
like Tesha Torres, she She'd have 10 fights. She's got one finish and 10 fights. Well, if you include Ultimate Fighter, for one finish and 13 fights.
Yeah.
Interesting. Anyway, so Tyson Nam's probably got a bit more power, a bit more dynamicism, but Pettis is busier and a bit more skilled, so should be able to just pot shot him from the outside.
Yeah, I mean, Pettis has a good striking ratio just against UFC competition, so I imagine he'll kind of fuck Tyson Nam. Like he'll probably get ahead on the scorecards pretty easily, I feel.
Yeah. Nam KO is even that's plus 550, not worth it.
No.
Yeah, just sort of passing that one. Yeah, I feel like Pettis' price is about accurate. Like I don't mind mine. I think yeah, minus 340 is about right.
If I was a bookie, I'd put him in the minus 300 range. I think that's like correct. Debutant type of situation. And Tyson Nam's kind of older too.
Yeah. And yeah, Tyson Nam's kind of one of those guys. He's got some visibility due to that big upset over what's his name?
The Russian.
Eduardo Dantas.
Oh yeah.
Because Eduardo Dantas was Bellator champion and was taking regional fights, and Tyson Nam knocked him out.
He had kicked a good Russian fighter, right? Or I can't remember.
Yeah, he just kind of floated around the regionals, occasionally getting around KOs over like top talent.
Yeah,
like he's never put anything consistently together. But yeah, he kicked Ali Bogosnov.
Yeah, that's
1 second left in the fight.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's bad. He's not bad or anything, but just like he's just never really strung together a sufficient success.
Yeah.
Is this a flyweight or bantamweight?
I think it's at bantamweight, but I just didn't have much interest in it because I kind of agreed with the line. Like I taped Nam, I taped Sergio, and
yeah, it's flyweight.
Oh,
Nam's not usually a flyweight. So.
Makes sense it's flyweight because Askarov and Moreno are fighting there too, and it looks like they're actually keeping the division. So
yeah. All right, on to Angela Hill versus Ariane Carnelossi. I don't get this line, honestly. I've watched tape and Carnelossi. She's beaten like absolute nobodies. She's like Andrade if Andrade wasn't like an insane athlete.
Yeah. Yeah, I taped. I kind of like the thing though with Hill. I think if you got her at an earlier price, like right now, she's implied 60% to win, like minus 150. Yeah. I don't think I wouldn't play her there personally. I think earlier when she was a dog, she was very playable. I mean, that's a 10% difference, or even bigger. So like plus 105 to minus 150, like people don't realize that's a bigger difference than like minus 300 to minus 500. So I like by double the percent actually. So I would have played her earlier, but I think because she goes to decision so much, Angela Hill, and she doesn't have insane power, and it's going to be a pure striking women's MMA fight. Minus 150 gets a little dicey with me, even if it's someone debuting, and I'm always skeptical on debuting fighters. So like right now I would actually pass, but like the other girl didn't look bad on tape, but she didn't look particularly good either. Like I assume Hill's going to win, but I wouldn't play her at minus 150. I just in like a women's MMA striking fight, but I don't know how you feel about it, but that's just how my opinion is.
Yeah, I kind of see it similar way. Just I feel like Hill just by virtue of being proven in the UFC, and yeah, when Hill went to Invictus, she was sort of dominating this level of competition. Yeah, like nothing in Carnelossi's regional tape or regional fights or competition makes me go, this person has a particular UFC future.
Yeah, I can see it kind of being like an average, like mid to lower level type of women's MMA fighter, like that Cypher's space or something. But yeah, I think Hill's gonna win, but like I think just Angela Hill around that minus 150 range kind of gets scary because her way to win is just kind of by outstriking you, and she doesn't have much power, but she throws a lot. She throws 5.73 like significant strikes per minute, so that's pretty high, but she's who's like the bigger girl here?
I think Hill's taller and longer.
Yeah, by an inch. So I don't know. I didn't think the other girl looked I don't think Ariane looked terrible on tape, and she's got like a little bit of pop. But Hill's also really tough. She kind of scrapped with fucking Andrade, so I don't worry about like Hill getting finished or anything. And there's no subs here. This is definitely going to go to a decision. But that line's kind of been getting crushed. So.
Just looking at Rice's next fight, Carl Nelson versus Marco Polo Reyes. Nelson by submission. That's plus 900.
Yeah, that was fucking insane. I already played it.
So I just saw it now. I'm playing it. I was like, what?
I thought it was going to be plus 250.
Should be a lot bigger favorite, honestly. I think Nelson should be like minus. Just Reyes is just bad in quite a few areas. To be frank.
Yeah, it's one of those fights where, like, this is the first fight that I'm thinking about playing, and I'm actually leaning the same way as you. Like, I think Nelson should win totally fine if he actually isn't an idiot and he goes for takedowns. And like, I don't know, to predict that, I kind of just like look at his previous fights, and he went for 10 takedowns against Sales, and I feel like if he just does that, he's gonna win here because his top game is good. Like he's not that good of a fighter, but his top game's actually good. Like it's probably above average for UFC. He puts in body triangles. He's super heavy. He never gives up position. And Polo Reyes is absolutely awful in bottom position. So if he wrestles here, he should easily win. If he brawls, I get a little more scared, you know?
Yeah.
I don't think he's outmatched there. I'm just saying it could become a coin flip, which that's the only worry that I have.
Yeah, I just find it crazy that the sublines like that when Nelson almost had Sales and like 2 deeper in neck chokes, didn't he?
And not only that, he wins by sub on the regionals.
Yeah.
That's what he does, and he goes for he's a checkmate body triangle guy, and I think sub is probably equally likely as KO. Like maybe KO is a little more likely, but not by much. Like I was expecting it to be around plus 250 or plus 300 the sub.
Yeah.
So when I saw that, I couldn't believe it, and other people haven't hit it either. So
yeah, crazy. It's opened wide in Australia in some books, so I can get on without fucking 5 times line. Hopefully.
Yeah, like you can't go wrong with plus 900. You just can't.
Yeah,
you just throw a little change on it, and it's never going to ruin your night. So whatever.
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, like he should win. He could honestly probably win the striking. The Polo Reyes does throw a lot though, which is like Nelson can gas out, but he showed better cardio in his regional footage. I think against Sales, he kind of went nuts, you know, and same with his Diego Ferreira fight. So he didn't always fight like that in the regionals. So we'll see what he does.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. So and Hayes is just he's a brawler with no chin. It's not a good mix.
Yeah, like Nelson actually might just KO him right away too.
Yeah.
I tend to like chin a little more.
Like I legit think Nelson could be like minus 250 here.
Yeah. His takedowns are good too. I don't know if he has. I didn't look into it. If he has like a wrestling background, I'm guessing he doesn't because he's Canadian. But his takedowns are actually good. Like he changes the corner. He does stuff you would see in like an American wrestling room that I was actually really impressed with. Are we still recording?
Yeah, I think we should be. Still the bot's still in there.
Okay, cool. But yeah, like I favor him. I'm probably going to play him. I wonder where the odds are going to go. Though they've kind of been sitting around even.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that there's been such push on Nelson. I mean, on Marco Polo Reyes, because like Nelson was minus 140ish for a bit. He slowly crept back. I just don't see much to Marco Polo Reyes' game, which is really encouraging.
The only thing I could see is like the stat nerds like the significant strikes because he throws a lot. That's really the only thing I could see. But that very well may not even come into play. And Nelson, I mean, the stat nerds could also look. Nelson went for 10 takedowns the last fight. So
Yeah.
it goes kind of both ways. But I just think where Nelson's good, Reyes is kind of fucked. And where Reyes kind of can win, Nelson can win too on the feet. So I hope he just fights smart. We'll see. He doesn't fight like an idiot on the regionals. Like he's a little more composed. Like he'll go for takedowns and kind of not brawl as much. And yeah, so
Yeah, that's fair. All right, on to Carlos. Speaking of massive ground advantages, Jose Quinones versus Carlos Huachin. Like Huachin just seems to have nothing off his back. What's Quinones? Yeah. Quinones sub is also plus 680. Nuts.
Yeah, I don't understand the people who play sides like Carlos. Like I understand just not wanting to play the fight in general because I stay away fights like this generally, but I just don't see how you could be confident he's going to win at a plus 120 clip, you know? Quinones isn't bad or anything. He hasn't beaten like any killers in the UFC or anything, but he gets a lot of fucking takedowns. And I don't know, he has like a process to his game. And I feel like Huachin just kind of wings hooks, you know, like just wings some big shots. But I tend to think Quinones should win this. I don't know if I'm going to play it though. I don't feel about it like as strongly as I do with Nelson. But what do you think?
I actually like it a fair bit just because I feel like Quinones' takedown volume is significant. I'll definitely get play for sub drop just because it's stupid.
Quinones lands like 3 strikes or 3 takedowns per fight too, you know. So like, and he's constantly passing too. He gets like 3 to 5 passes every fight. Like I feel like he should just dominate. Watching like the regional tape I saw of him off his back, he was terrible, and it was against Barcelos, right? Recently.
Yeah.
And I know Barcelos is a lot better, but it doesn't like what I saw of him on his back. I feel like anyone with just competence on top position will dominate him whenever he's on his back.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. So yeah, I might play it, but we'll see.
It's weird how many sub props I like this event.
Just
looking at my. No, it's weird how many sub props. I like this event. I've got Eubanks, Nelson, and Quinones sub, and they're all like just massive odds.
Yeah,
it's just nuts to me. But so yeah, Claudio Puello's submission is like minus 110, and like honestly, Huachin and Marco Polo Reyes are not that better. Are not like significantly better grapplers than Marcos Mariano.
Yeah, I need to rewatch the guard retention of like Huachin again against Barcelos. I couldn't like I remember Barcelos was passing a lot. At least from what I remember. I just have to kind of watch that to kind of because I do want to tape a little bit more. Like I taped a bit, but I feel like I need to pay attention to the passing opportunities. But I feel like they'll be here. It's like Huachin wasn't good from what I remember. So
yeah.
But, a coin flip. The next fight, Bravo Peterson. I have 0 opinions on this fight.
The Ceara split decision loser bowl. I don't know. I feel like based on the Caceres fights, like I felt Martin Bravo kind of deserved the win over Caceres, and Stephen Peterson didn't. So maybe. No. But
I actually thought they both beat him. Well, I thought Peterson Caceres was like more of a coin flip. I totally thought Bravo won.
Yeah, like I had quite a big bet on Caceres, and I remember that. I'm still so grateful for the judges doing some meme shit.
Yeah, I just think it's going to turn into a bit of a brawl and maybe trading top position at point. Like I really don't give a fuck about this one.
Yeah, same. Should be pretty 50-50. I think they're about the same level.
Yeah.
I remember Bravo not being particularly good off his bat. I remember Bravo's grappling being pretty weak, but who knows?
He can get like takedowns, actually. So they both throw a lot. So
Yeah.
I honestly probably actually lean Bravo, but I would not play something like this. Peterson gets hit a shitload. Bravo does throw a lot. They both get takedowns, here and there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just see it as kind of a coin flip. Like I watched some of their fights and I looked at their numbers and I kind of thought whatever. Like I really don't care. Hometown hometown edge like can matter, but so that might come into play. But I don't really care. Aldana and Vanessa Melo. It's another fight I don't really care about.
Yeah, same. The odds are just. I can't. Melo's not very good. Aldana isn't really great enough that I'm comfortable playing her as a -500.
No.
So as a result, pass.
Yeah, I mean she should win, but who cares? Askarov and Moreno. I have a small play on Askarov right now. I got him when he was at -5. Like I tend to think he's just kind of better everywhere, but I didn't go big on it because there's always that risk with people coming into the UFC maybe not being as dominant as they look on the regional tape. But he fought in ACB, which honestly, there's like many fighters who are better than UFC fighters there, and like ACB fighters come and debut and dominate. Like there's been quite a few.
Yeah.
And Fight Night Global is the other Russian organization. So those are like the two organizations I generally don't get worried about as much with debutants because they're actually good. But Askarov looks really good. Moreno's not bad though. So
I've always felt Moreno's kind of been overrated because he's just sort of thrown up a bunch of low percentage stuff and just sort of
agreed.
Yeah. He's just kind of rolled the dice a bunch of times and come off a bit better from it, but he probably should have.
Yeah.
So people kind of overrate him.
Yeah.
Like Ortiz was beating his ass. That's put the decision against what's his name?
Benoit.
Yeah, Ryan Benoit was close, and against Smolka. Smolka's not really. Yeah, Smolka's taken a lot of hits as a name now compared to where he was a few years ago.
Yeah.
Moreno upset him as like a +600 or whatever, but like in hindsight, Smolka should never have been a -700 against anybody.
Yeah, like the way I see this fight is on the feet, I think Askarov's better. Like I just think he's a better kickboxer overall. And Moreno doesn't throw enough. Like he averages 2.5 strikes landed per minute for a flyweight, And like if you watch some of his fights, like especially Sergio and Pantoja, he backs up a lot. Like he's constantly backing up on the feet. And that's kind of where Askarov likes to do his work. He kind of likes to be coming forward, throwing leg kicks, and he kind of mixes up strikes a little bit. Moreno does like to grapple a lot, though. Like people may not realize that about him, but if you just look through his fights, he actually averages almost like 3 takedowns per fight, which is high. And I tend to think that's his win condition here, is kind of grappling and getting top position. But I think Askarov's better there as well. He has a tendency to play guard. Like he's kind of a two-way jiu-jitsu player. He's like a good wrestler. He's also deaf, by the way, for people who he's good on top, like super ruthless on top, actually. And then his guard game's really good too. Like that's very rare to see, but I feel like sometimes he kind of relies on his guard a little bit, but it wasn't like too concerning or else I wouldn't have played him. But he'll do it for like maybe a minute and a half, and I don't like that. But I tend to think he's just kind of better everywhere. That's the way I see it. But
yeah, definitely good.
But I'm not going to go
Askarov decision. I like Askarov by decision at like +250.
Yeah, that's a good play.
Moreno seems very tough. I'm not sure Askarov's going to, let's say, suburb. And I just think Askarov by decision is like probably the most common the most frequent single outcome of the fight.
I also like the goes to decision too, just because I don't think. I mean, that's even money.
Yeah.
And I think it should be higher. Askarov, I don't think Moreno can finish Askarov. Like, I think if Moreno, it would be a bit of a meme. He's
Yeah,
just
but
not really.
Moreno does mean finish people.
But
He's
the
like
thing
three
is,
of them.
he subs a lot of people, and I just don't think he can sub Askarov. Like, dude, Askarov was subbing like BJJ black belts in uh, ACB, like easily too, like with like legitimate submissions. I don't. His guard's good. I just don't think he'll be able to pass him all that much. So I just don't see. Like, I think if Moreno gets a finish, it wouldn't be from dominance. It would just be a random like punch or something, you know.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I look for if it's going to the cards. And then Askarov, I could see. I think sub's possible. Especially if he gets on top and he can maybe like kind of brutalize him from top position. Standing KO is possible, but Moreno's super tough, so that's kind of the way I measure this fight as far as going to the cards.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree with that. No scorecard, no scorecards, no action on Mariano is fairly interesting in my opinion. Actually, no, plus 160 is probably not enough.
No,
Like,
I disagree.
yeah, that's fair. All right, Grasso versus Sparza. Not sure why this is the top fight. This is the first fight in the card according to best fight odds.
It's also a fight that everyone's kind of betting, I feel. Same with the Yair fight, but what are your? I don't know if I know your opinion on this one. What's your opinions here?
I don't have much of an opinion. I've got some Esparza plus 110 because I saw the line was coming in, but like since the line hasn't really come in that much, I've kind of just I've cashed out a lot of it.
Yeah.
I think they definitely got clear win conditions. I think people are probably reading a bit too much into Grasso's last performance.
Yeah.
Because she looked incredible, but Carolina Coco Valic, whatever her name is, looks like she's just done anyway.
And it's a totally different fight. I mean, Carla averages going for 10 takedowns a fight where Carolina doesn't. You know, it's a completely different fight too.
And the
But
way that Grasso just kind of got completely, like instantly subbed by Suarez, I do find that a bit concerning.
I don't find that as bad because
I'm not saying Suarez.
More concerned of the Marcos fight than the Suarez fight.
Yeah,
because dude, Suarez, like Suarez is really, really good against the right type of opponents, and the way she kind of just holds onto that body lock, like the pressure she has, and kind of just the leverage, I think it's a lot different. Like Carla just kind of like memes a takedown, or like she kind of gets her takedown and kind of sits in guard. Like she's not as aggressive of a passer, I feel, but. Like I don't know. I just think both girls have clear win conditions, and it's kind of.
Yeah.
I think though people are focusing too much on the takedowns. I think the takedowns are going to land. Because the way I see it, like Esparza, I actually think her takedowns are pretty good, and she goes for 10 a fight. So like I don't think Grasso is going to stop 10 for 10. I just don't. Like I'd be very surprised if she. Stop 10 straight takedowns. And that's kind of what she has to do here if this goes to the cards. And so I think it's more what people should be focusing on is can Grasso get back up? And I think her half guard sweep is like decent, but I don't know. Her takedown defense didn't look that good against Marcos, but it was a little bit ago. And so I think she should be getting taken down here, in my opinion. Like I honestly probably lean Sparza, but she just doesn't throw enough strikes for me to play her, you know?
Yeah, that's fair.
So,
I say this most likely comes down to a very close decision.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a split.
Yeah.
And in a binary kind of fight like this, that's going to go to the cards. I feel like what will matter a lot is what's happening towards the end of rounds. You know, it's like I think round sequencing is really going to matter here because both girls have the type of game where they're going to kind of win clearly by decision. So I feel like if it's kind of flipping back and forth, it will be who does well at the end of the round, in my opinion.
Particularly since I feel like lately grappling's kind of had a bigger sequencing issue than it used to have. I feel like even if somebody has back control or something for 2.5 minutes, if it's like middle of the round, they like do anything with it, it gets marked like really softly, which
Yeah.
is kind of annoying.
See,
Like
go on.
I believe that back control should be worth quite a bit in terms of round winning, even if you're not actually getting a sub with it, just by the fact of you being on their back. Like say Cole Smith versus Miles Jones.
Yeah.
First minute and a half, Miles Jones gets a takedown, goes to guard. Cole Smith probably about off his back, probably throws about as much ground and pound as Miles Jones does. My opinion, that first minute and a half was even. Then Cole Smith has back control for sort of 2.5 minutes. Doesn't do much, doesn't like threaten meaningful subs or anything, but he's still got back control. And then Miles Jones has guard for another minute. I'm just like, how do you give Miles Jones that round? Yeah, he was throwing more ground and pound from guard, but like guard arm punches should score less than back control, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, and kind of like the one thing I do. It's not that I disagree with you. I think it's just kind of as far as them starting to weight striking more than grappling. I think it's just a random occurrence of events because
Oh, of course, definitely.
it just happened to be that way. Like I don't. I think it will flip back another way. Like judging is chaos, and it's always been that way. And there's been times where like they really favor grappling. Like I've seen both. You know, I could think of so many different.
Yeah, so many fights where it gets turned by like a last 30-second takedown.
Yeah, we're gonna have a card soon where there's like 4 close fights and they favor grappling too. It's just gonna happen. It's just randomness. Like these judges don't have process, in my opinion. And
well, even on the same cards, you get certain fights get judged by certain other. It's just crazy.
different criteria. Yeah. What I feel like last event there was some really weird judging on some shit, but yeah, that's the way I see it. Like I think back control should matter a lot, and it's funny that they sometimes will favor that a lot, but I feel like standing back control they don't always care about as much, even though it's a super dominant position.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
Kind of like ACJ versus Hall last weekend, where I lost money on, but it
Yeah, and also that fight had the issue where people overscore blood a lot, in my opinion.
yeah.
Anyway,
I thought Hall won personally, but I thought it was kind of like a weird thing. He just like he won 2 moments, and it happened to be separated in 2 different rounds. You know, so
yeah, he kind of threaded the needle.
Exactly. Yeah, that was he kind of hit one of his 2 win conditions. It was either by KO or steal rounds by a couple shots. But yeah, like I don't have much to say about Esparza Grasso. Stevens, Yair. I think you're leaning Stevens here.
Yeah, like I can see how Rodriguez has the pieces to put together a game plan, which makes life hard for I can see how Yair has the pieces to put together a game plan that makes life hard for Stevens, but I have no confidence to actually do it because like Yair just seems to be very do as you feel.
Yeah.
And as a result, I just feel like Stevens should take advantage of Yair having very weak boxing. Yair doesn't really like leg kicks much, and Stevens I think this is quite a similar fight to Stevens' Korean Zombie. To Rodriguez Korean Zombie, but I feel that Stevens is better equipped for the fight than Korean Zombie is. Stevens is a lot better defending kicks, and Stevens can actually leg kick. Well, Korean Zombie's never really been a great kick defender, and has never really been great at and also consistently throw leg kicks. I just think Yair gets pushed backwards and eventually loses by KO.
Yeah, I do think Zombie has a little quicker straight punches. That's kind of what I was seeing on tape, but like over like similar prototype, and I do think Stevens kind of, especially with his leg kicks, is like a little better in some areas. But I don't have strong opinions here personally. I like striking numbers are Yair actually has them by like a strike, but you have to contextualize that stuff. And I see it as being pretty close. I think it's just kind of I think Yair's going to get off to an early lead. I think I talked to you about this. Like, I tend to think he'll kind of kick, and sometimes Stevens takes a little bit to get going. But
Yeah.
I do think there will be a point where Stevens starts having a lot of success. But I don't have like the strongest opinions. I think if Stevens just leg kicks out of the gate, I think he'll fuck Yair up. But like, didn't
it's hard.
he fucked up Melendez with that? Like, he went to the well
Yeah.
with leg kicks like the entire fight, right?
Yeah. Well, Melendez obviously has nothing against leg kicks, but
Yeah.
yeah, Stevens is a hard, consistent leg kicker, which I've always liked about him. Like, first of all, I feel like the dynamic here to me is that I trust Stevens to do Stevens things because his game is relatively simple,
Yeah.
and it's just there's less space to do dumb shit,
Yeah.
in my opinion. Whilst compared to a guy like could play the Moicano game plan, but also Moicano needs takedowns to make that game plan work, and I think Yaya's going to be taking him down.
No.
Like Moicano had to play the keep away game. Stevens needed the reactive takedowns, needed to bleed off a lot more time, needs to play a lot more discipline than Yaya has really shown the capability to do. I think Yaya is just fundamentally not that smart a fighter.
I think one thing that kind of I noticed on tape specifically is I think people see like a game plan work on someone and they just think like anyone can do it. And they saw Moicano kind of like use length and kind of movement, and he's like a longer guy. And who was the last guy? Zabit kind of used like length at times as well and kind of was just elusive. But like they actually have hands, like I think Stevens can kind of like enter the pocket here and land big.
Yeah.
Like I think he's going to be like more aggressive here because I just don't think in the inside he's going to have to pay for anything, where like Zabit can actually like crack some hands like in straight punches here and there, and Moicano can too.
Yeah.
But I don't have like I don't know, like I've gone like a little back and forth. Like I think I'm more kind of leaning the Stevens side now, but I don't have strong opinions. I do think Yair will get off to an early lead though. Yeah, but like I really overall in this card, I really don't like too much like my leans right now, but I don't have like much action on anything yet. Like my leans,
that's fair.
like Nelson. I like his subline's awesome. Like plus 900 is insane. And then I think I like Askarov small at the earlier line that I played him small at minus 145, but I wouldn't go big on that either. And then I think there's a few submission props that you kind of mentioned, but that's pretty much it. But who do you like against Stevens and who else?
Stevens, who do I like? I think I'm in a similar position to you. Stevens, Nelson. Yeah, pretty much Stevens and Nelson as far as money lines are concerned.
Yeah, it's kind of like I'm gonna look into Quinones too. I don't know if I'll actually play it or anything, but yeah, that's kind of it. But I don't know, like you would talk about 5-10 minutes for like future lines because I think a lot of lines just dropped.
It'll probably be an entertaining card because I can see a bunch of like chaotic matchups. But yeah, it's from a gambling POV and from like a relevance POV, it's kind of weak.
I see a ton of finishes on this card. Like the Mariano fight, the Eubanks fight for a women's MMA fight could get finished. Paul Craig fight, probably not the Pettis fight, probably not the Hill fight. Nelson fight, Quinones, like, yeah, I could see a lot of finishes happening. Maybe towards the bottom end of the card, but the Hermanson card next weekend just dropped a bunch of lines. I kind of like that card a little better for. Oh wow, there's like I don't even want to mention the line. But there's like a line that moved in a different direction than I expected.
Oh yeah,
I'll just say it. The Jack Shore line. Why the fuck is he only minus 165 now?
Yeah, I thought you were going to talk about Cowboy Oliveira. He's no underdog.
Let me see. Oh, against the Dalby?
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to trust Cowboy Oliveira to do anything, but I feel like Cowboy Oliveira should whoop his ass.
Is that Jack Shoreline just line manipulation like Smolka McDonald was the other week? Remember that? You and I were talking about that as it was happening. We were like laughing at the line manipulation.
Possibly. It could also be that Jack Shaw it's his UFC debut, so who knows. No, didn't Noel Hernandez look decent against Marlon Vera for a bit? So dog's going nuts.
Jack Shore, that's fine. Jack Shore's pretty good though.
Yeah.
Like he's kind of that Nathaniel Wood type of space, like a Cage Warriors guy who's actually got a process to his game. But are you going to play OSP? You hate that, however the fuck you say his name.
If it's like plus 200-ish, maybe like for units or so. Yeah. Just because I feel like OSP could name Magic the Stud. I like small, not particularly great. Certainly. Like, give her like another fight. There'll be time to fade him eventually. Like, if I like favored against Glover, that'll be the spot.
Yeah. I have like a few lines on that card. You know, the co-main event who we like, and then it's like Kudalaba Roundtree pass. I'm not fucking around with that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if Roundtree just happened to go back to me, I would not be surprised.
Well, he's gonna get murked on the floor at some point. Like Glover Teixeira, I would max bet over Roundtree.
I kind of I don't mind Diakazes evens.
That's what I was gonna say too. I think he's better.
And his cardio is a bit better too.
Yeah, Venata gas is too hard. It's a great live bet. Any Venata fight is great for live betting.
Yeah. And also, against Joe Duffy, DKZ looked legit.
Yeah, he. I feel like he put up a better fight against what's his name too, Drakkar Klose. Like Venata's just. I like Venata. He's like entertaining, but I don't. He gasses way too much, man. Like he becomes way too vulnerable in the later half of the fight. Amandowski, John Phillips, another meme fight.
Yeah, agree with that. Amandowski, John Phillips. Yeah, that was very meme. I kind of like Cannonier at plus 200 too, because I don't really trust him and sense to do anything. He just is nutty. He throws himself at people.
Yeah, he's got the volume edge, but like Cannonier will fight harder than I feel Jacare did in that last fight.
How much of Hermansson's volume edge is that Jacare fight? Like, I mean, I'm not saying completely throw it away, but just I'm saying like, he put up an insane amount of volume on Jacare. So if you like remove that as an outlier.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. He like I had talked about that actually to someone else who I was fighting with, and like a lot of that skewed his data, I feel.
Yeah.
Because he was just kind of a punching bag, Jacare was.
Yeah, pretty much. And even then, Jacare still hit him fuck hard and took a round or two whilst being exhausted.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. That was pretty much all his volume. And a lot of his other volume come from like first round beatdowns. Like he got 41 strikes on Gerald Meerschaert in the first round because he was just on top killing him. So it's like, like I see what you mean. A lot of it's kind of hard though. He has a lot of just like first round wins or losses. So it's hard to kind of know his pace. But I mean, he's obviously capable of throwing a lot and not gassing, but I don't think Cannonier is like a complete punching bag. And I think he's like more threatening than Jacare is on the feet too. Jacare still stunned him too.
Yeah, exhausted Jacare still hurt Hermansson. And Jacare was like dead.
Yeah. Another line I like, I don't know how you feel, is I don't think Archuleta should be plus 150 against Pitbull. Like I actually, I mean, he's implied to win 40% of the time, and I have no problem putting that at 50-50, and I would actually maybe even favor Archuleta. So I think that's kind of an offline, and I know you like your dogs, so I was taping that one tonight, and because it's next weekend as well. And I just feel like Archuleta, I get why people won't like him, because he kind of has like an awkward game, but it works. like, because a lot of people like Dantas was like the more technical, probably like better striker in many ways, but Archuleta's game, the way he just kind of runs in and out and just runs away and just clenches you up and then just throws volume and spams volume. It's like he's kind of a cheat code, I feel.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, it's kind of janky, but yeah, I do like his style as a sort of winning fights point of view.
But
it is very sort of
wins
meta game.
rounds, though. It wins rounds, you know?
Yeah. I know it's a media, but it's very sort of meta game reliant, I guess.
Yeah, like I mean, it's definitely like wacky, but if it works, who gives a fuck, you know? And it makes him hard to hit because he's just kind of moving around so much, and he's on so much EPO being in that game too.
Yeah, so.
But yeah, like so, we'll do another podcast next week to talk about Hermanson and Cannonier. I've actually taped a lot of that card, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, it should be a good time. Yeah, so I've been a bit out of it. I'm sick anyway. That's why I'm doing it now. Anyway.
Yeah, no worries, man. I'll talk to you next week.
All right, see you then.
Cool. Bye.